The forgotten voices of the harem. In the heart of the forbidden city, behind its endless gates and shadowed courtyards, lived hundreds of women whose names we will never know. They were concubines, chosen for their beauty, their grace, or the alliances their families could provide. To the world outside, they seemed fortunate, lifted from ordinary life into a palace of jade and gold. But once the gates closed behind them, their voices began to fade. Among them were women like Consort Wan of the Ming dynasty. She entered the palace as a maid, but her cleverness and beauty caught the emperor's eye. For a time, she held power, yet her jealousy consumed her. She sought to destroy rival concubines and even prevented the emperor's sons from rising. Her name survived, but twisted by history into that of a villain. How many others followed her path, remembered only by the shadows of rumor? Others, like noble consort May of the Qing dynasty, lived lives that were little more than whispers. Her influence was subtle, her presence often overlooked. She bore no great scandals, started no rebellions, and left no poetry behind. And so, though she lived in the emperor's court, she was forgotten as soon as she died, her story buried beneath the weight of others more dramatic. The vast majority of concubines met this same fate. They entered the palace filled with hope, yet their days dissolved into silence. Some never once saw the emperor, their lives spent waiting in chambers that felt more like cages. Others were briefly favored, then cast aside when youth and beauty faded. They carried secrets, desires, and griefs, yet none of it was recorded. Their laughter and their sorrow vanished into the stone walls. Even those remembered by history had their voices reshaped. Yang Guifei became a legend of beauty, but who recalls her fear in her final hours? Consort Zhen is remembered as the pearl concubine, but who hears her cries as she was thrown into the well? Their voices, too, were stolen, their humanity traded for legend. The forgotten voices of the harem are countless. They linger like ghosts in the forbidden city, trapped in a silence deeper than death. Each woman once dreamed, once spoke, once longed for a life beyond those walls. Yet history reduced them to names on scrolls, and in most cases, not even that. Today, the palaces stand empty, their courtyards still, their chambers cold. But if you listen closely, it feels as though you can hear them. The faint sound of silk brushing against stone, the soft echo of a sigh, the hushed laughter that once filled those hidden rooms. These are not the sounds of history's emperors, but of the women it silenced. The forgotten voices of the harem remind us of a truth that the empire itself tried to bury, that behind power and glory were women who lived and died unseen, their lives as fleeting as incense smoke, their stories dissolved into silence. And yet their presence remains, haunting, fragile, and unforgettable to those who dare to listen.